Hi, everybody. I'm Dr. Ramona, and I'm here again with my sister, Dr. Renee, and we are on the fourth week of our 12-week video log with the Inspire Vol.1.
So what we're going to do again is we're going to chart our progress for you, talk a little bit about the experiences we've had this fourth week, and then if there's been some physical or emotional changes, we'll talk about them. So let's get to it.
Hi, how was your week?
Pretty good, pretty good. Definitely some changes. What about yourself?
It was a really fantastic week.
Fantastic. Okay, so let me start. With respect to progress, I am doing my same playlist, 4 songs. I'm still at 2.5 times. So I guess I'm getting close to an hour. And that's actually feeling good. I'm no longer as tired just to get through the end. I'm energized by the time I get there. How about yourself?
I'm doing the same thing that I was. I had the same tracks, 6 or 7, and have been doing that since the beginning. So that hasn't changed. And same time frame between 1 and 4 every morning. That's been very consistent and disciplined.
I maintained my intention for this week was to continue experiencing activation. Keep your focus on the pineal gland, and also the whole rhythm thing is coming into play here for me now. I've begun to make some changes to how the rhythm feels, pulling in the first 3 centers and tightening them down pretty well. But now I'm pulling up the energy past the heart and into the fifth and sixth centers. And I'm using that. You had mentioned last week that the mudra was useful to you. And at that time, I had also already experienced the fact that really the 3 lower centers were like bases, the strong base from which everything else gets pulled. And so up above the heart is where the intrinsic muscles are starting to push. And so that you can do something a little bit faster here. And so when I'm using the mudra, I can push that effect into the back of the head, pushing the fluid up into the pineal gland and asking it to become that radio receiver, intending that it become that radio receiver. I think I had some really good experiences this time. It took a little more effort to feel the pushing from here as opposed to from down below. It took a little bit more time. You're pushing from down below as opposed to pushing from up here.
Yeah, I totally agree. I was saying that there's been evolution in the rhythm. And to me, that's just a matter of, Dr. Joe was saying, finding your own rhythm, okay? Which was what the theme for me was last week, finding that rhythm. And if you're saying that you're experiencing that there's a difference between pushing from the base 3 as opposed to above the heart, then you're becoming sensitized to that difference, which is good.
Yeah, I can say that it allows me to aim at the pineal gland's location a little differently. I feel like there's a broader upper part of the brain as opposed to where you're aiming at it from down, way down below. I don't know. I feel like I can aim the arrow a bit more tightly now than I did before. And I can actually see as it's going up there, and sometimes I'm getting the flash. And sometimes I'm just missing the flash. And I think I'm either focusing a little too high or a little too low, and I'm trying to gate that place.
Interesting to try to understand where the placement of the pineal gland is. You can get a little psyched out about how do I find a grain of rice in the middle of my brain?
Yeah, and so you don't worry about it.
You don't worry about it. I don't think you worry.
It's like with acupressure. You're not going to find the exact specific conductivity point, but your entire finger or whatever it is you're using to create the acupressure, it's a region in which sensitivity is found. So you just have to make sure that you're pulsing that region. But I think how low or how high you go affects how the burst is controlled. So I'm trying to zero in on where that might be, where that exact space might be. So I got a few good, really loud bursts completely overwhelm me so that I get to just sit back and say, okay, let every single cell of this feel. And I've noticed that my eyes are staying open more. I can open my eyes and look out and still see the direct see. I can still see it. And so I'm really pleased with that. It feels great. Just would like to do it more often, more of it, so that I stay in that space more, because all the millions of cells that we have need to be activated or acclimated or lifted to being able to exist in this higher state of energy. That's how I feel about it.
And that's why we do it over and over again, because we're a community of, like you said, billions of cells. And so they're not all awake at the same time.
Yes.
Some of them need to be nudged more. And I think that the repeating of the exercise of pulling the mind out of the body is a way of nudging them that, hey, I'm focusing on something, get with the program, join me in this effort, and ye shall be rewarded. Right? That's kind of what it's like.
Yeah, I think I can say that the heat remains, and I really enjoy the feeling of the heat.
Now, the heat is what? The heat here, the heat in the body, the heat in the back.
Let's be specific then. That there's heat, right? There's definite heat in the body area, in the nervous system down below the neck. And there's so much heat, I can't lean against anything in my back. It's just completely up and down the spinal cord. So it's just heat everywhere. And I think that the reticular formation is being affected. There's no way that it's not being affected. After that really large burst, there was definitely a sense of detachment that came after that. And so the tracks that I did after that very big burst didn't require as much energy to create microbursts thereafter. And I guess that to me says that the oblongata is starting to kick in, and the metabolites from the melatonin are starting to be created, so that I am feeling, it's not like I want to go hibernate, but the fact that the senses are being dampened. And I think that's one of these processes, that the bodily senses, touch, taste, and all of them being disconnected, like Paramahansa Yogananda says, from the sense telephones are being disconnected, so that we can take all of that internal energy up into the top of our heads and really use our supersensory senses to experience. So I think that detachment is definitely an
notable effect of doing this practice.
Yeah. Okay, let's hear it.
It was a really good week. My goal, my intention for this week was to have more bursts of this high level frequencies. And that happened. I started on Monday, and by the time I was done at the end of the week, I would sit down in the morning, turn on my little playlist, and consistently every single time I took a breath, every single track that went through the entire 45 minutes or so that I'm practicing, it happened. It was just phenomenal. It was like somebody had opened the floodgates. Something we read in chapter 12 about the thalamus and the gates. You remember?
Yes. Thalamic gate.
That's it. Yes. Thalamic gate. So here's so much to say. There's again, another change in rhythm. Last week it was all about trying to find that rhythm. And I was telling you that I had moved from using the lower body to pulse to the upper body to pulse. But this week it just seemed, and I was intimating it last week, this week it seemed like the pulsing was really, really fast, so that I couldn't keep up with it physically. I was almost just mentally pushing it through, or mentally, but it wasn't meant. There was physical movement, but it was really fast, and faster than I could almost move. So I was like trembling fast. You know how when you tremble, you move really fast, as opposed to when you're actually pushing.
Doing it.
That's what it was feeling like. And having that very powerful visualization go along with that seemed to burst up my spine into the pineal gland, and the receivers just went off. And I was just off in the land, not for a long time, but I'm saying it would happen, and then it would fade a little bit, and then it would happen again, and then it would fade a little bit. So it's not like a consistent, I'm there and I'm there forever type thing, like we noted, or I noted when we were at the advanced workshop. It wasn't like that. For me, it was still a series, but it happened consistently. And it didn't take a lot of effort once I had opened up that channel, that gate.
Can you tell me, was there an effect that you might remember in your heart? Is your heart rate higher? Is your heart rate lower? Do you remember thinking about it?
My heart rate was not pounding as much because I wasn't putting as much effort into it. When you pull it in and lock it down, that's a mechanical stress right there. You're holding your breath. So your heart is being exerted just because you're holding your breath. But when you start pulsing, I just didn't have to put as much effort into it.
That's cool.
It's like we were talking about, as you get comfortable with doing something, the amount of effort that you have to exude in order to do that thing recedes. It's learning to drive. You have to be really focused. And then one day you're doing it automatically and it's all under the radar. So I think that's where we're going. Okay. I think that's where we're going eventually. We're in the early throes of
unconsciousness. No. Which we're always trying to become more conscious, but that's not really what you meant. Automaticity.
Yes.
Is part of this.
Yes, I think that's where we're at. I'm seeing that glimpse. That's what's going to happen. But while I'm here, I may as well enjoy all of this beautiful connection and explosion. And I think it was in this week, I think I wrote a note that one of the times that I was perceiving the
quantum,
what I actually saw was pretty cool. When, I mean, you spoke about opening your eyes. I mean, I have a visor on, so it's very simple for me to open my eyes to look, to just see into space. And what I saw when I looked into space, because I was traveling into space as if I was going down a wormhole, but everything was spinning. So space was spinning.
We know the quantum vacuum fluctuation spins space, spins us.
Everything about us is spinning. We just don't know. It's relative to everything else. But when I was doing it that morning this week, looking through and then seeing it actually spinning around, I thought, wow, this is awesome. Seeing the actual quantum vacuum.
Yeah, fluctuation, spinning, the background, spinning. It's interesting that you would see it spinning and as if it's not relative to you. So what does that say?
Maybe it just says that I was dizzy. Could it just say that I was dizzy? Because you are holding your breath and then you said, let it go. Maybe I was just didn't have enough air. I don't know if I really believe that. Like Jodie Foster says, I must mention that in that movie Contact. I must say, I'm a scientist. I have to give you that. It could be that maybe I was just dizzy.
That's such a physical effect, though. It tells me that the medulla oblongata shut that stuff down. You are not sensing with your senses. You're beyond that kind of sensation. And dizzy is that kind of sensation, is a physical sensation.
Okay, that's cool. But I was just jazzed, completely and totally jazzed by the opportunity to experience over and over and not have to worry about, and there's a word right there, worry, because that tends to bring you back down. So I should mention that when I don't go over in previous weeks, I know that I have to give myself a pep talk. Don't let this bother you. And of course, this week's theme for me is This Is Your Time. It was a good experience this whole week. And I was thinking after the first day, coming back the next morning, am I going to be disappointed? Or am I going to, all those negative human things that you think, But then I just sort of said, forget all that and sit down and take off from where you were yesterday. Use what you've learned to continue to grow. And so that's what I keep telling myself, because I know that there's this unlimited potential and that I'm literally pulling the mind out of the body, getting it out of my physical body and now into my mind and into the quantum so that I can see the.
And we are also training the autonomic nervous system to go there. Every time that we have these little microbursts, or you have your big experiences over and over again, we're training the autonomic nervous system. Hey, this is now part of who we are. This is a new phase for us. And it's not just once in a while. Once you come back down from that and you get to do it day after day, the body is saying, oh, okay, I guess something new's happened here. I've got to add this into what it is that I understand as me. And that's what we want. So there's no point in it didn't happen to me. Every individual is so unique. And I know Dr. Joe says it on the tapes. It's like, no one else can do it for you. No one else can get in your brain and have it happen. So you have to do it on your own. And you have to have this sense of self-confidence. That you too can experience this, because it is our birthright. The body is an instrument of consciousness, and we just have to learn how to play. Being musicians is wonderful. We're all musicians of our particular instrument. So let's play them and join the orchestra. We need an orchestra.
All right. With that, I guess we're done for the week.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Please take a moment to subscribe to our channel. That way you'll be notified every time we upload a new segment in our 12-week Inspire Volume 1 video journal series. If you'd like to start your own journey, you can purchase Dr. Joe's Inspire Volume 1 10 Tracks to Master the Breath album using the direct link in the description. Happy breathing!